bothering me. I didn't catch all of your show earlier today, Carmen. I want to let you know. I was on the phone with
Yo, I was at work today,
Right.
and I know you were too. I was at work
Yeah.
today, and who comes across my screen?
Who?
Lizette.
Lizette.
Lizette comes across my screen. So I said, well, what's going on here? I click on it, and I'm like, what in the world we have going on here? It was
What
like
up, True?
it was like girls trip. True Armor, what's going on, man? Carmen, how you doing? John, I'm sorry, I wasn't being rude. That was a work call. John says he has a Twitch account, but probably only been on it a couple of times. Notice I didn't say a couple of times. Couple of times.
And Carmen, like I was saying, I watched your broadcast. I was on the phone with somebody, so I was in and out. But your friend's hilarious.
Carmen
hilarious. Yeah, I can't wait.
Followed Adrian. Was her name Adrian? Andrea.
Yeah, Andrea Nunez.
So she followed back.
Yeah.
So thank you for the plug.
Big ups to her, for real.
And what I got to do is I'll do it probably after this. So listen,
Hey Sadie.
In 20 minutes, Sadie, how you doing? In 20 minutes, Mr. Ed Lynn is going to come on, and we're going to talk about a little aftercare.
Sure.
There was something elaborate we wanted to do, and we should have shoehorned it in last week with Ed, and it would have worked because that's when the old hacks was still in play.
Right.
Tone, how you doing, man? How's everything at work? How's everything
in life?
How's everything treating you?
Today, so I can't.
Sadie, how you doing?
Helen, how you doing? Everybody's been resubscribed to. Everybody's been unfollowed. We got to refollow each other and all that good stuff. And it's only been a week. I think
help is on the way.
Yeah, I think all of our stuff is going to come back. Honestly, I'm just holding it down.
Oh yeah, the image library and sharing screens and all that stuff is going to come back. You just gotta just take a deep breath.
Be patient.
Helen, how you doing? So all that stuff's gonna come back. So you had a rough work week so far because we're
today was just a day off trying to take care of some stuff and wound up just sleeping.
Friday Eve.
Is it just me for this afternoon? I haven't got my notifications coming in. It might be just you, lady. I've been getting mine. Now that I think about it, yeah, I was getting mine today.
Notifications?
Yeah. The adjustment, I know for the phone, I still can't broadcast on my mobile. I can watch. It will cut off. I try to broadcast. It won't connect. If you try to, like, I'll go on the app and then I'll come off the app. Milton, you be quiet. If you try to come on to your app more than once, a certain number of times, time frame.
I gotta say time out, Tone, because I think I saw Sadie was trying to broadcast today. Was she trying to broadcast today, or
I did catch her?
Well, maybe it was old because I saw her name pop up, and I was just like, "Well, wait a minute." But like, it was
came on the broadcast. Oh, you did try today, Sadie?
Yeah, I thought so because it came up on my screen. I came back to the office. I looked, and then next thing you know, I had a bunch of people in the office, and people were complaining. They weren't happy, and whatever.
They're gonna do that. My mobile was not letting me broadcast none of that good stuff. So
I wanted to hit lotto. Can I please hit lotto?
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm gonna be sitting on the roof of a building with a satellite dish broadcasting when I hit the lotto.
Yeah.
Just being straight up.
Who is this picture of? I hope your wife. Tom, what are we gonna talk about? So we got hey, you want to talk about crypto.com?
We can, because I see they got the arena now.
They got the naming rights. You don't like. They're stomping in to become a player. It's worth $700 million. What's your take on it? Do you miss the name the Staples Center?
The Staples Center is a big arena for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
They got on a major stage. They were also in the ring with that last UFC fight.
Yes.
Crypto.com was like, it's taking over. Just being real.
Crypto.com is paying the UFC $175 million to advertise.
Tell y'all what, they need to holler at your boy. We can always talk money.
And they're dropping another $700 million for naming rights. What do you think about that? They got money to burn.
Apparently, I don't know where they got it from. I mean, if that's
What are you talking about? You don't know where they got it from.
That's cool if they got it like that, but there was a lot of controversy. Crypto.com, I guess everybody's investing. They took every dollar they got and put it somewhere where they're going to make money. Yes, the Staples Center is now Crypto.com. Yes. Yes.
Do you feel indifferent about it? I mean, like...
Personally, Crypto.com, I don't have a problem with any of the crypto platforms making it because that's what we want to see. Those of us who are investors. So it may just be a money grab, if you will, or a chance to just get out there and try to get people to come in to reimburse what you've been losing.
Okay.
So Crypto.com is dope. Coinbase Nas owns.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. So my thing is going to be Coinbase. I'm a little biased trying to follow the hip hop crowd, especially when he jumped on the money. Let me see, what am I missing here? I'm game with it. My homeboy's on it. Went out and got a crypto veteran hat. He got he big on Bitcoin. He got on before it dropped down to 30 and that was back up, so he's good. Something that matters other than stupid advertising. Carmen, half of them buildings got to get paid by advertisers.
Yep.
Half of those buildings.
Oh, right, because they're out in LA, so they probably drive by this. They're probably going to be there Christmas Day.
So my whole
thing. I heard, I don't know, I could be wrong. I heard it's going to be called the Crypt. That's what I heard. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Christmas Day, the renaming. They're going to be like, hey, we're playing at the Crypt. I'm like, I don't even know.
So now we're going to have Tales from the Crypt.
I don't know. I don't know.
Where people go to die, exactly.
Yeah. So what she said, Fenway Park in the late 19th century, Fenway, the Finns, had its marshland filled to make permanent land, which became the home of the ballpark. The name came to be from the Boston Red Sox owner, John I. Taylor, who owned Fenway Realty Company.
Yes.
From Boston.
Yeah. Yes, Helen. She's from Boston. From Boston.
So this is something. This next quick thing before Ed jumps in here until we start talking about aftercare. What's going to happen when the lights go out the last time?
Yes.
Putting something in the queue. This goes for Helen. Helen, that means you. Yes, we're involving you in this. Tony, what's your take on Christmas music? iHeart flipped all those stations and they started playing, at the time of the post, it was 80. Then it was last week was 100. It seemed like a few days after Halloween. They flipped the stations for all Christmas music, holiday music, 24/7.
From the bottom of my heart, it's too damn early.
Question. Helen has a radio show. Is she playing all holiday music? Yes or no?
Who?
Helen.
Oh, ask her, yeah.
Christmas song shouldn't be played earlier than 2 weeks before. So here was the problem. This was an issue I had to deal with.
Take your time.
Who? For me?
Yes.
Oh, no, I want to share with you. So my daughter's birthday is December 10th. We never, when she was younger, we never put up the tree before the 10th. So a lot of times that meant so we can celebrate her birthday, the 10th of December, and then we would put it up maybe the 15th. So the tree would only be up no more than 10 days because December 26th, we were taking the tree down.
I am game for Christmas midnight after Thanksgiving dinner when the Temptations come on. That's the tradition.
Yo, there's so many. Okay, so that's right. After Thanksgiving, at the earliest.
At the earliest,
Milton
yeah.
chimes in and says, I agree. John Ardmore says, I'm a traditionalist on Thanksgiving being the Christmas season starts. Right, 100%. We're all on the same page. Okay. Yeah, it's like you go into the. Have you been into the mall?
No, not really, but I hear you, and I see it. I've seen people putting up Christmas decorations already.
Yo, I got dragged into the mall, and I was like, oh man, this is painful. And it's just all of this stuff is up, and you're like, it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Wait. Helen says she puts a tree up 2 days before Christmas, and then she might leave it up until April. There is a tradition where you don't take the Christmas tree down until January 6th.
Really?
That's called Little Christmas. My mother told me about it when I was a kid, so I'll leave it up till January 6th. I won't worry about it.
Yo,
it's always
we
cute.
yank it down. In the Hicks household, we yank it down on the 26th.
That's a shame. Y'all got no damn spirit.
We yank it down on the 26th, right in the attic.
It's supposed to stay there at least till New Year's. Jesus Christ.
Man, it's crazy.
April. God damn.
April. That's
Boxing Day. I'll leave it up from Thanksgiving to the day of Thanksgiving till January 6th. I can do
so that. This is a question for the everyone in the comment section, but Tony, you get to answer first. Growing up, did you have a real tree or artificial tree? I never had a real tree.
Artificial. I got a real tree. We got a real tree once. It's a lot to clean up. I see you, Carmen. I can try.
Lenny, how you doing?
I can try to remember that. It's meant to be up for a week at the New Year. Thank you, Helen.
Okay, so Carmen says artificial tree. Everyone else, real tree, artificial tree when you were growing up.
Artificial is easier to take up and put back down. I got one in the garage still. Real trees, they do shed. God knows you might get an animal in that bad boy one year.
Right. So. Yo, we had an artificial tree, the same tree for like almost 20 years.
Yeah. Hey, Lenny.
Lenny, what's going on?
Always a real tree. Yeah, it's fun having a real tree. You just don't want nothing growing out of there. Artificial pre-lighting to save arguments at home now. Yeah, and then the lights, you got to worry about that on the real trees. They will light.
Right.
They will light. You will have.
Because don't you have to water it, or don't you have to do something to?
You got to take care of it. You got to take care of it, and it's only for like a month. I'm not gonna put a tree through that torture of being a temporary live monument just to smoke your ass like I'm a cookie for Thanksgiving dinner or something. I'm not gonna do that. Took up half the living. Yeah, them real trees. You get the real ones. Shoot, all the damn time you have to water. That's right, John. That's right. You got to put some tree food in there too if you do it right. What I hate about the real trees when Christmas is over, they all lined up in the alleyway. Yeah, that is depressing. I give you that. But it's also firewood.
Yeah, we've never.
It's also firewood. In my mind.
We never, ever. What are you doing? 5 heartbeats?
Temptations.
What was gonna? Let's see.
Helen, stop.
I've talked about this. This might be a little.
Oh,
what's up?
Go for it.
Little painful.
Young Dolph. Young Dolph. Painful. You know about that?
No. Tell me about it.
The rapper?
Yeah, he died. He was.
Yeah, he got killed
in Memphis, right?
He was in Memphis. Like I said, I'm waiting on the news to come full story, but people are like hurting.
I didn't even know who Young Dolph even was.
I've heard of him. I don't know a lot of his music, but I know he had a following. He had a following. So rest in peace to him. All jokes aside. What is up with people just quitting their jobs? People are quitting their jobs
Why are people
because
quitting their
of the
jobs?
mandate,
Is a
because of
better
that
question.
that new illness rating that's out there and the laws and stipulations behind it. So they're
So
going to try to force this on you, and people are like, no,
you
they're
talking
not
about
going to
they're
do it.
quitting because of
And
the mandate,
yes,
or they're quitting because it's a crappy job and people are just like, you know what, the hell with this.
not before the holidays. Ain't people are trying to find jobs before the holidays. Right now, they
So
quitting because they don't want that mandate. Yeah, I say illness rate instead of the other word because he don't want to get his show pulled, which I can respect. Yes, mandates.
okay.
And then it's not the mandate, Tony. Yeah, it is. I'll be clear. I don't know nobody who quits their job before the holidays because everybody's trying to make money for the holidays. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong.
So
Who
I
quit
gotta
right
rehash.
before Christmas?
I gotta rehash the story.
Sure.
This happened maybe roughly 20, 21 years ago. Might
Okay.
have been longer. It was just before the Thanksgiving holiday. The management brought everyone into one room, and they were like, "Oh, okay." You go into the room, and there's wraps, there's different sides, there's juice, soda, everything, macaroni salad, all this other stuff. I said, "Oh, this is nice. They doing this for Thanksgiving?"
Mhm.
People was getting pink slips
They were
before
firing them.
Thanksgiving. Yes,
They were firing them to
they
save
were
money.
firing people. Yes.
They are one
And
trying to
here's
keep
the
money.
one thing. What the message that was given out was, don't tell your loved one before
The holidays.
the holidays. Wait until after. I said, okay, that's asinine. That makes no sense right there.
Zero.
And they had like HR was there, and they had like a grief counselor there, and I was just like, and I'm standing there with two veggie wraps, my soda. I'm like, yo, it's so crazy. But this is like the reverse of it. People are just quitting. Like I'm hearing like bus drivers. I'm hearing like people are just going on strike. These are like frontline workers are going on strike.
Why are you hearing that they're doing it? Because I know where Carmen's saying that I'm wrong. I'm curious as to why she would think people are quitting before the holidays. The only thing that makes sense, because I've never known people to quit their job before the holidays, not even for unemployment check or tax return. Nobody. You
Okay.
don't quit before the holidays. You got to find somewhere you can pull some overtime to pull the extra money for the family, for the kids, and for the dinners. So my whole thing, I know they were talking about quitting in New York, and then they didn't because they couldn't afford to not have the job over the
Right.
mandate.
Right.
Now what we got going on is the court found the mandates unconstitutional, and they're not going to approve them or enforce them. So everything about to go backwards. But people have been threatened with not getting the shot. You won't have a job. I can't type all this shit out. I see you in them capital letters. Where you coming from? Honestly. And I
It's
say
like,
this on purpose because, like I said, I'm around people. I was essentially okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. If it's a Forbes up, I'll pull it up. Don't worry, I'll pull that up. I'm glad you told me. Thank you. I want to see it. See if you can pull up Ted.
1 second. I'm looking for a message from Mr. Lynn.
Forbes become a nation of quitters. 44 million left the job in September. I thought you were talking about right now. You talking about right now? You talking about from back in September, Ted?
Oh, no. I was talking about based on September, and I guess the newest information should come out based on October shortly,
Right.
if people are quitting or not.
This is gonna come up. What did that article say? The one from Forbes in September. I'm gonna pull it up. Hang on.
Okay.
Because my thing is, I don't know nobody who would quit, and I'm not around anybody affluent. I'm around the broke folks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I hang around folks 50,000 and under. Forbes News. Pull up Haps on here and pull that link up. Okay, here it is. We become a nation of quitters. 4.4 million Americans left their jobs in September, according to the most recent data from the United States Job is a labor turnover report. 4.4 million Americans left their jobs in September for only 1 month. This is an enormous amount of people either quitting their job or switching to a new opportunity. Agreed. The United States has 10.4 million job openings, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. In November 2019, there were 6.8 million job openings. Over the 12 months ending in September 2021, new hires grew to 73.3 million and separations totaled 67.7 million, leaving a net gain of 5.6 million. Okay. Quits are defined as voluntary separations initiated by the employee. Therefore, the quit rate serves as a measure of a worker's ability to leave a job confident that they will secure a new one. Total separations include quits, layoffs, and discharges and other separations, which can justify what I was saying more than she was saying that I was wrong, but I get where she's coming from entirely. Hires include all additions to the payroll during the entire reference month, including newly hired and rehired employees. This also includes full-time and part-time employees, permanent, short-term, and seasonal employees. Hang on, it's buffering. You still there? Hello? Ted.
Yo, yo.
Oh, well, I lost y'all. My computer started locking up. Oh, damn. Hold on.
She's giving us a book.
Jesus Christ, Carmen.
Tired of the stress of the pandemic, annoyed by irritating bosses, frustrated by low wages and the lack of future growth, workers decided that they'd quit, even if another job wasn't lined up.
Same reasons they want the man to take a move to Ted. You need me to text Sir Edward. You got Edward's number. There are many reasons why people. There are many reasons why they're leaving their jobs. I gotta see this though. Not everyone flows in on support mandates at all. Right, this little tiff is on phone, but 3 a.m. Yeah, good night. The vaccine has not been proven to stop you from getting COVID. It should have been tested that they don't even know how long it lasts you. Agreed. I just left the job because I got a new job, better money. You are still wrong. You've been able to find a better job. I got you on that. Let's talk about other folks. Let's talk about the other folks. How was your tired of the stress of the pandemic, ignored by irritating bosses, frustrated by low wages and lack of future growth? Workers decided they quit even if another job was lined up. It was important to their mental health and emotional well-being to extricate themselves from toxic dead-end job. Fortunately, in the hot job market, there are enough opportunities available. There are other reasons why people quit. My computer locked up. I'm sorry. Hang on. And I got what she's saying. There are other reasons why people quit. Working mothers have the challenge of juggling their jobs and also finding childcare. Absolutely. Unfortunately, unable to procure any or reasonably priced childcare options, they temporarily left the workforce. See, that's a situation I wasn't going to discuss because that's a no-brainer. That is an absolute no-brainer. But if we've got that many mothers pulling out, there's got to be more than just that. Workers who had the regularly interface with customers were concerned about contracting and spreading the virus. Bingo, electing to quit and find a different and safer type of job. Warehouses, fulfillment centers, and manufacturers saw staff leave as demand surges applies enough because of workers feel overwhelmed. This from the article. Agreed. Lenny, you are right about not everybody right. Same here, John. Hate to mean. Please stop making it about vaccines. Wait a minute. I'm talking on a large scale besides that article. What class, economic class, socioeconomic class, demographic number of people is that article talking about? I see them saying the Americans. I'm not perpetuating lies. It don't make no sense for nobody, and I'm going to talk about the 50,000 and less a year people to leave their job. It don't make no sense. Not right before the holidays. It has got to have been about the mandates because you can't afford to leave your job. Let's be clear. Your stimulus check and unemployment is not enough to survive with your family, even though a lot of people were surviving off of it last year, and that was a very big issue as far as the stimulus package. I can't argue with that. But now I'll give you evidence. You say it's just one article. I do say it's one article. I question the demographic of any statistic. Any statistic. I learned that in college. And I'm not even arguing. I'm just saying. I'm not even arguing.
Well, until Edward gets up here.
Says. The damn thing locked my computer up. Over the past 12 months, new hires grew and separations totaled 6.7, leaving a net gain of 5.6. Therefore, okay, I read that part already.
Hires it was backstage.
Okay. I can finish reading it afterwards. I got exactly what she's saying. It's not bullshit. No. I'm talking about the broke folks, not the rich folks.
Oh my goodness! Our esteemed
I don't even
guest,
What's up,
Edward
Ed?
Lynn, is here.
Hey,
Edward, how
what's
you
up, man?
doing?
Oh, it's the best day of my life. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. We've been talking about several different topics, but we're so
Okay.
thankful and grateful for you to join us tonight to give us an abbreviated version of something that we're concocting for you to do it on a much grander scale. And it's something that's been on our minds, you know, especially over the last 19 months. You know, what do we do? And you know, what do we do when we lose a loved one and we haven't prepared? You know, no one's really ever going to be prepared, but, you know, there's certain things that can be done, you know, where parents get elderly and things like that. But what should we be thinking about and preparing for aftercare?
Well, it's actually before care.
Okay.
The topic is called necessary conversations.
Okay.
What you want to do with necessary conversations is you want to begin to talk about these conversations in advance. If you are married, if you're not married, you want to talk to someone who's going to be what we call a proxy. Someone's going to be in charge of your particular affairs. So what that means is this conversation you're going to have is what you want done before death occurs. So what my responsibility is to help individuals, uh, many times, particularly husband and wife or an individual, make arrangements in advance while their emotions are at rest. So the goal is to have this conversation in advance so people are not doing it in the middle of a crisis. What
Right.
we know in the funeral cemetery cremation space is that when death occurs, everyone's emotions are off the chain. We call it the two E's. The first E, when death occurs, is called the emotional E. People are going to be emotional when they lose their spouse, they lose a child, or they lose a loved one, a friend. There's emotion that's going to occur. There's the second E, which most people are not privy to, is the economic E, because we do not know at the time death occurs what economic situation a family is going to find themselves in when a death occurs. So our goal is not having this financial or economic conversation in the midst of someone losing their loved one.
Okay. Tony, any initial thoughts? Any
No,
initial questions you want to ask? Because I have a
he and I
couple.
covered this before on more than one occasion, honestly. So this is absolutely informative, mainly because he emphasizes the fact that people need to plan before the emotions kick in because you can't focus. And I 100% agree with him on that. Most people cannot. My wife just lost her aunt a couple weeks ago. My family just lost one of my uncles right after that.
Yeah,
So I
my
understand exactly what he's saying.
condolences.
Yeah, appreciate it. And I know the three funerals that I went through last year on top of the other two. And I mean, I've seen so many funerals in the past 2 years. It's ridiculous. What he is saying is absolutely correct. Emotionally, you can't focus, especially when you're grieving. You can't focus on nothing. You don't want to hear all that mess. That's why the family comes around. They try to handle the affairs for you, but it's still going to have your name on it to where you have to have an absolute focus before you make a mistake based on the fact of you can't think at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, Milton. And that's serious and that's real. I know
Yes.
what my aunt-in-law, the one that just passed away, who lost both of her parents about 3 4 years ago. I remember when we was talking, and she could think
Oh, Tony, I
about
think we
system of
lost
stuff.
you. Oh, there you go.
It was actually a stressful emotional mess. For them. Yeah, it was a stressful emotional mess for all of them, and that'll go not necessarily for the immediate children, the siblings, the parents sometimes if it's their child that they lost, the kids. That's a big emotional mess. So he's correct in proper planning ahead of time. I agree with that 100%.
So, Edward, I want to give you a hypothetical issue. My parent is well off. They have an estate. Um, the I guess the son and the daughter don't see eye to eye. There's an issue in regards to who's getting what.
Mhm.
How would you as a professional deal with a situation like that where you could see the family is all over the place, but you know that loved one needs to be laid to rest?
It's called the talk of a lifetime. The talk of a lifetime doesn't have to be with everybody being in the same room on the same page at the same time. You can have different conversations about the same topic and help family members navigate what needs to be done. But the most important thing is the person that's being laid to rest, they should 100% be involved in their own affairs on how they like to be laid to rest, and they themselves should fund their own services. Because when you do that, then whether it's your spouse and or your children or any outside relative, we call it irrevocable. Irrevocable means that no one can change whatever your wishes are, regardless
Okay.
of what line of succession they are in your family. So, like for me and my wife, we've already made our arrangements. I'm going to be laid to rest in a ground mausoleum crypt. We also have a service and funeral and everything else. But the reason why is because we don't, number one, I don't want it to fall on my wife if I happen to pass away first. And I also don't want it to fall on my two children and any of my brothers and sisters. The biggest part I don't want to happen is if there's going to be a rift, because I always say this: where there's a will, there is a relative.
Right.
So, 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 the, so, uh, so the biggest thing is some people show up at the time death has occurred because most people do not realize that people show up for the stuff, not for the actual love of family or the love of the fact that we're going to celebrate the honoree's life. So one of the things that we believe in the funeral cemetery space is that when death occurs, when a family choose one of our firms, we call that person the honoree because we're going to honor this person's life no matter how they passed away. It doesn't matter to us. We are honored to serve that family, and we're not going to let any family member, including their spouse or spouses or children, we're not going to let anyone interrupt the honor of this person's life. So our goal as a funeral home and cemetery is to do everything we can to make sure that person is laid to rest with dignity and respect, because everyone should be laid to rest with dignity.
Uh, I gotta ask you a question. So, what happens if, okay, let's just say person X is prepaid. They've already worked with you, and they happen to pass away while they're on vacation. Um, it sounds like a silly question. Like, I call you and I say, my hypothetical loved one is in Spain. What insight do you provide to that person who's grieving? Like, what
Well,
steps should
Well,
they?
that's a good question. That's a good question. In each one of our advanced plans, when we do advanced plan for a family, we also have away from home assurance. It's in there. So if you pass away anywhere around the world, we would bring you back to your local funeral home at no charge to the family because you paid that one charge at the beginning. It's a one-time charge. You pay part of your plan, and anywhere in the world you pass, they'll bring you back because we do all the paperwork. We work with all of the embassies. We work with all of the consulates to make sure that that person is shipped back to their state, all the paperwork in advance. Now, if you don't do that, then you as a family, I would instruct you to make sure that you find a local funeral home, whether in that country or that state, and whatever charges they are is called forwarding of human remains. Forwarding of human remains. Then on the other end is going to be a receiving of human remains, that we're going to receive human remains. Both of those company minimum charges are going to run you between $3,500 to $5,000 from each location. So in order to avoid that, this is one of the things we try to make sure is that families plan in advance. So then they don't have to deal with doing it at the time death occurs, whether it's in their locale, another state, or another country.
Tony, may I ask one more question, and I want to pass it over to you. And this is going to be something gentle, but it's something sensitive. I mean, and I kind of know what the end result is, but so Edward, you're dealing with the family. There was no pre-planning, but you have to hold the body 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Is that the norm? Is there like, and I want to be respectful, but is there like a cutoff time where you could say, okay, we have to handle this within X amount of time? Because you know how like sometimes when people aren't prepared, and then you hear someone passed away, and then they say the funeral, the homegoing service is 3 weeks from now, and you're like, well, what happened?
No, there's no time limit because unfortunately most people do not understand that there's not a cemetery or funeral home or crematory in the United States that lay people to rest for free.
Right.
It is truly a business, and they will wait for their money. So the family has to decide on how they want to. Now, if a family gets to the point where they think it's too long, then they choose to cremate their loved one versus do traditional burial like they normally would.
Right.
So that then their cost will not be the same. But it's truly up to the family to determine if we embalm a loved one, that we can, hold that loved one until they raise all their money, which we've done. And then we have the ceremony, the viewing, the service, and then we lay the person to rest. But no company wants to have what we call a shortfall, meaning that we're doing services where we're not being compensated, and that's just not good business.
Right. Tony, you wanna jump in, or you want me to grab another one?
Go ahead and grab it. Like I said, I've discussed this with him more than once. I know exactly what you're
Okay.
talking about. I don't know a lot of the specifics, and there's probably a couple
Okay.
of questions you ask, honestly.
So explain to me about the embalming process.
Well, the purpose of embalming is that there's going to be a public viewing.
Hmm.
So the embalming process is to help make sure that the person looks as natural as possible, so that when the loved one comes in to do the viewing, that person look as natural as possible. So really, what we're doing is replacing the body fluids to make sure that the person looks identically the same. So that's the key, and it's extremely important that we do that so that everyone understands embalming is not a requirement. The only purpose for embalming is if you're going to have a public viewing and a public service, and that's the purpose of embalming.
Edward, um, talk us through. We've been dealing with the last 19 months of COVID-19. Were you? I mean, and I know cable news tends to sensationalize things. Take that smirk off your face, Tony. um, were you ever at a situation where you could not accept, like let's say someone calls you and says, Ed, we need your services for XYZ loved one, where you were kind of at capacity? Because I was hearing stuff like that. You would see it on TV, and I'm like, is this stuff really happening, or what?
No, in some cases it did happen, but we bought in refrigerated units. We allow families to embalm their loved one, and we put them in a refrigerated units, and then it could be up to 6 to 8 weeks before we can actually have a ceremony and service, because there were so many people at that time passing away. But we facilitated it because we've done this before. I mean, with every major disease that's ever hit us after 32 years, we've navigated. So what I always say, the last responder, the funeral home, the cemetery, the crematory, you know, most people don't realize these people get up every single day, early, midnight, early in the morning, to go bring your loved one into our care, and we do it with dignity and respect. And we've done it handsomely for all 700,000 people that passed away.
So let's just say hypothetically, it's a young couple, and a loved one passes away, is there like a checklist that, that young person who comes in and says, Edward, we need your company's assistance. I don't know what to do. What do you do for people like that?
Well, we have an outline. The first thing is when we receive a first call, and that's what it's called. We get a first call. That call comes in, and then we would dispatch the what we call the transfer of human remains into our care. And then there's 150 different things that a family has to go through, from filling out the death certificate, mother and father's maiden name, the place the person was born, social security number, all these different things, what we call vital statistics of that decedent. Then we have what we call the arrangement conference. The arrangement conference. That arrangement conference consists of what type of ceremony we're going to have. Are we going to have a viewing? All the different things, the type of service. And that service is going to be at the funeral home or at their place of worship or at another location. Sometimes, I live here in California. We do a lot of our services, especially since Tony's a veteran. We have Veterans Point in Huntington Beach, California, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. We do a lot of service out there. We also have a lot of surfers that pass, and we do it right on the ocean. It just depends on whatever a family wants. The way I do it when I sit down with a family, we have a blank sheet of paper, and I go with FORM, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, motivation. What I do is I want to talk to them about their family, and that's what we're going to discuss for the obituary. The
Mm-hmm.
occupation, what they do for a living, whether retired or what they do, so we can put that part of the obituary. Then we talk about what did the family do for recreation. Bring in all your flowers, bring in, the photos. Bring all the photos, all the memories. If you have any type of video that we can link together. So when we do the actual presentation, it is beautiful because we celebrating this person's life, and it makes a world of difference. And then the final resting place is what we call the committal service. We can do that in several different ways. If a person is going to be laid to rest in the cemetery, there are what we call side-by-side burial, where a person is going to be laid to rest in the ground. Then there's above ground burial, which we call mausoleum. A lot of people have probably heard of the Taj Mahal, which is a mausoleum, which is above ground burial. Also, a lot of people do not realize the pyramids, the sites, which my wife and I've been to, the pyramids. And when you actually go there, each pyramid is an actual burial site for a pharaoh. So the larger the pyramid, the more powerful the pharaoh. The smaller the pyramid, less significant. So those are the kind of things that you go through and do. But the most important thing is the committal service. Some people can also be what we call lawn crypt, where they lay to rest one on top of the other. It's called double
Yes.
depth burial.
Right.
And then we also have cremation, where people can be laid to rest in what we call a columbarium. It's a column that buries people. It's 12 by 12. They're in a nice urn. There's glass front niches, and then there's also granite front niches. There's also cremation benches that you can go through and have what we call a POR, is a point of reference. So that's a whole lot of different ways. But when it comes to cremation, the final disposition, you can scatter at sea, you can bury in the ground in the cemetery, you can send into space, or you can do DNA to diamond, where we take cremated remains and make it into diamonds, into jewelry. So there's all different kind of things. We also have a company called Eternal Reefs that allow you to make reef balls for the ecosystem, so that you can actually have a reef. People who like to scuba dive, they can actually lay their loved one to rest, and you can see the reef balls go down. When we Ted, get to the point where we can actually do a live where we can show video, we'll show all
Right.
these different things.
Okay.
So it makes a whole lot of different opportunities that people can see the process of DNA to diamond or reef balls or any other type of things. And we actually, Space Girl on here, she actually know that 4 times a year we send thousands of cremated remains into space.
Gotcha.
I gotta ask you about that. Actually, what did catch me, I did not know you had cremated remains and made diamonds out of them. I'm with Eric. That blew my mind. I did not know about that.
Yes, cremated remains. First of all, we're carbon, because we're cremated, the flesh is burned up, but what's remaining is our skeletal structure.
Yes.
and that is all carbon. And if you know that we are from the earth,
Yes.
fact, we're fact from the earth. Diamonds come from the earth. So
Mm-hmm.
they have a process. They just take those cremated remains and they process them to the point where they have all four areas of a diamond: cut, color, clarity, and cubic, all of it. And it's a certified diamond. And they run in between. They start at 9,500 and could go all the way up to $30,000 cremated remains.
Want to give some quick hellos to the people in the comment section who stepped in here. Sadie was already in here. Carmen was in here. John Ardmore was in here. But Sweet Pea is new to the comment section. Eric Hypes is also in a. John had a question.
Hello, Leslie. Hello, everyone. Who has a
John had
question?
a question. John had a question. He said he wanted to know. He understands. This is your business. This is your 9 to 5, or I'm not even sure if it's 9 to 5, but more like 24
No,
by
it's
7.
not. It's not 9 to 5. It's not
Right.
9 to 5.
But he wanted
Yeah,
to know. He wanted to know. Are you in the pulpit on Sundays?
no, not at all.
Okay.
I'm not. I've been
Practicing
in
minister.
funeral cemetery. I've been in funeral cemetery service for 32 years.
Okay. So Tony is not quite yet, but I'm okay to say I am 50 years young. Tony's not quite 50. He's almost there. He's right
Almost.
there. At what age should we be preparing for, to start to lay this type of work down in front of us?
40 and above. We
Milton is
target 40.
52. Milton is
Yeah.
52. So okay, I just wanted to just jump in there.
40 and above. The reason why you want to start, if you go to the Hallmark section of your local convenience store or any shopping area, the largest
Mm-hmm.
section is 40. And the reason why, if you are married, what we call the sandwich community, you normally have minor children. You've probably been married 10, 15 years. And in the event that you were to pass away suddenly, you want to make sure your family is taken care of and it does not fall on your spouse and your children. So one of the things that we always focus on is 40 and above. Number one, a lot of people have some establishment where they either have a home, they have cars, which we call the big four. The big four is homeowner insurance, medical insurance, auto insurance, and life insurance. What we do to complete that umbrella is funeral arrangements and cemetery planning.
And I know you've seen it all through your professional work career. What if I said to you, I came to you and said, Edward, I want to be buried naturally. Naturally.
Yeah, we have green burial. Yeah, we have cemeteries and areas that does green burials. We have one here in Yucca Valley, California. We also have one in Tahoe, where you can be laid to rest naturally. Go ahead.
Can I if you could just explain to myself and Tony and everyone here, if someone says they want to be buried naturally,
Say it again.
if you could explain when someone says they want to be buried naturally.
It's considered green barrels. Yeah, what characterize green barrels? What that means is that they're not using any form of metals. All the woods and everything are biodegradable. We
Yes.
wrap the person in a shroud. There's no embalming process, and they lay to rest on the earth itself in the space. There's no concrete vault around them, and everything is done through green burial. It's all natural.
Gotcha. So, Edward, as we begin to wrap this part up, this is going to be a couple of series because we really want to do full on where we can see the various, you sharing your screens and some of us going through and having detailed discussions on this because we all require this type of education. What was the deciding factor that led you into this career?
Well, when I got out of college, the only company that hired me was the local cemetery.
Answer that question.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe some years
that was
later.
32 years that was 32 years ago. And
Gotcha.
the
Gotcha.
lady who trained me said to me that I was 23, and she said to me, "We don't lay people off; we just lay them to rest. If you do what I say, you'll be employed for the rest of your life."
She wasn't lying.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
She wasn't, but you have to learn how to do it. So it's
And if we want to find out more about your business, I guess this is, I don't want to say, this is your 2 minute elevator speech. Um, but if we wanted to find more about you and your business and what you do, how would we do that on social media? How would we do that electronically? I mean, and let's just say I'm not a HAPS related person. How would we find you?
say it again. I'm sorry.
I said if it's not involving this platform, where would we find you on social media?
Well, you can actually go to my Legend Cemetery Funeral Service Facebook page. My email address is fsman1234@aol.com, or you can find me at kcharles at Legend Cemetery Funeral Services. We have different platforms that we can go through and do. I also have Premier Specialty Markets, which is our agency, which we are in 18 states, over 300 rooftops that we go through and take care of all over the United States. We deal with about 45,000 deaths per year.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Hey, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your time. I know there was a lot of discussion with us behind the scenes. Really looking forward to having you come back and for you to actually present and kind of take us on this walk along of, your day and or your, take a deeper dive into your profession. So I want to thank you for coming through.
Yeah. Also, we will be having, if anyone would like to, we'll be having a career summit in Southern California, March 28th, 29th, and 30th, 2022. And it's going to be open. It's Funeral, Cemetery, Crematory, Pet Summit. So anyone who's looking for opportunity anywhere in the country, if you want to have opportunity to come to Newport Beach, California, and just get opportunity to find out something that you probably would never look at. It's a great profession. There's a lot of people in it in all different walks of life. The most important thing is we have a great opportunity for a lot of people. We also have, which I would love to do when we get the opportunity to stream it, is called Journey to Serve for all military personnel, because we want to help all military personnel who transition from the military into the work life. And we believe that the funeral, cemetery, crematory profession is a great place for people to land and have a great career. And we look for great talent. And you can look it up, Journey to Serve. You just look it up, journeytoserve.com. It's a great way if you are a military person. Also, if you want to look up online, Life's Final Journey. That's very, very good. It's very important that you guys look that up. And then we also have a planning guide, a memorial planning guide. And what that guide does, it covers 95% of everything that must be done before death occurs. If you email me, we'll show you how to get that. Because we were gonna be able to go through and give everybody a discount on it. But when we do this, Ted, we'll come back and we'll make sure everybody gets a discount. What I always say for people, which is very important, people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
You guys just talked about inflation.
Yes.
I will share with you about inflation. I started in this profession 32 years ago. The average cemetery space at that time was $395. That same space today is $4,000. So when you think of not having something versus needing it,
Right.
it's important to make sure you take care of it. You guys heard the term COD.
Yes.
We call it cash on death, because we cannot extend credit to people who passed away because they have no ability to pay.
It's true. Edward,
It is
definitely
true.
want to thank you. That was deep. Want to thank you, and I will be
I'm
giving
trying not
you.
to, man.
What was that, Tony?
I'm trying not to laugh at him because I'm like, he
Tony,
got these words and, he ain't lying, but he just threw some stuff at us. And I'm like, I feel stupid because he right, but it's funny. Cash
No,
on debt.
it's
Oh, my
true.
God. You too,
My
man.
friend,
well,
I'll definitely give you a call tomorrow,
yes,
and we can
definitely.
start mapping this out to do this thing the right way.
Yeah, everybody get to see it. We Ted and I was working on the back end before all the updates came, but we
Right.
do have all the videos. We have all the intros, the booklet. I would go through the
Yep.
whole necessary conversations, the
Yep.
ABCs of funeral service. We have it already. We just want to come up and give you guys a little bit of taste. And I say this: there's nothing wrong with being responsible in life. It's
True.
okay. It's okay to plan. It's okay to be in charge of your life. And there's nothing wrong with planning. Every one of us, I don't care who you are, you have the ability to respond. Some of you spend more money on things you don't need. You need to
Frivolous stuff.
you need to invest money in your family so you leave your family with a will, not a bill.
I'm
See, he
done.
do that. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
He do that.
done.
He
He
smiled on that
dropped
one.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
He dropped it. Edward, thank you, man. Thank you for coming through.
You're welcome, man. And I appreciate you. Tony, appreciate you. One question, Sweet Pea, I don't know if she's still in here. She
Mhm.
was asking a question. She has a mausoleum that is for sale that she said that how she wants, if she don't have any need of it, how to get rid of it. There are ways that you can advertise. If you send me an email, Sweet Pea, yeah, if you send an email, Sweet Pea, um, if you currently have the deed to that mausoleum and the current cost of what you would want for it, there are ways that we can actually advertise. I'm also a licensed plot broker nationwide, so we can go through and actually help place that on there. So if you email me, again, you got my email. I will help you at least get it posted and see if people in your area would like to purchase it, especially some funeral homes in your area. They may have a family that walks in that really needs to have a, a immediate space, and they don't have one, and it's better to buy it from a third party sometimes than going directly to the cemetery.
Got it. Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
All right.
Tony, you have any comments? And you want to drop anything, Tony?
Look, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Appreciate you, man, as always.
Yes.
Tony, you know what? You don't want to drop anything, Tony.
I ain't starting you up. It's too late.
Oh, my goodness.
No, Tony and Ted. One of the things I want you both to know. I appreciate both of you extremely a lot. Number one is men taking care of their business is
Oh, yeah.
extremely important. And I am proud to be acquainted with you to know that both of you take care of business. Work is a four-letter word. It's the only one we get paid for. And it's
Right.
good to see men working.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good evening. And remember, I see you all at the top because the bottom's crowded.
Ed Lynn, everyone.
Thank you, Leslie. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. You
He
can't
needs his
question
flowers now. He needs his flowers right now.
Straight up. Straight up. Straight up. Right,
Tony,
right,
we're
Leslie,
going
right.
to quickly
Tagline.
segue.
Good one, John. Mr. Tagline.
We're going to quickly segue to Tone. We're gonna leave out of here with something upbeat. It was announced it was announced on Monday, but it was officially announced yesterday. NYC is open for business for bringing back in-person New Year's Eve. Are you excited? Yes or no? Can't hear
Now
you,
what?
bro.
Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yes. Are you
Okay.
excited? In person, New Year's Eve, crowds and crowds of people all together, dogs and cats, you
I've
name it.
been to Times Square for New Year's Eve. It was either 92 or 93.
Mm-hmm.
It is madness.
It's madness.
It's madness.
So we
May
would
I
go.
say, as a native New
Okay.
Yorker, to all of my fellow New Yorkers, may I say to anybody within the region who is thinking about going up there, may I say to anybody who is dying to get out the house to be around folks, you want to enjoy yourself, y'all don't do this year. I do not suggest, recommend, or advise you all to do this year. It's the winter. Viruses accumulate in the winter. Let me tell y'all
Right.
something. I love New York to death. There's only two times I wish I was not in New York, ever. When y'all had that blackout where everybody's walking across the bridge about 15, 20 years ago,
Yes.
and New Year's Eve this year.
That
I would have been
blackout
in
was
New York.
2004.
Thank you. I would have been in New York for 9/11 just to help go rescue folks. When
Yo,
all
let me
them
tell
folks
you.
was running over there. But let me tell you, that blackout, I actually
Mhm.
told everybody, this is the first time I did not want to be in New York ever in my life. Ever.
It was so chaotic because I was working in Westbury, Old Westbury. For anyone who's familiar with Long Island, I was working in Old Westbury. No lights, no nothing, and I was in my office, and I was on the phone with someone that was complaining about their computer,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, and then all
Look,
of a sudden we were in pitch. It was, I mean, just totally black.
that scares me because I know how crowded New York is. And it was right before everybody was about to get off of work.
Right.
If that's not a
And
listen, if that's not seen as a cyber attack, I don't know what is.
it was before, believe it or not, it was before like voice over IP and all of that stuff became
Yeah,
like the norm.
yeah.
So the copper lines still worked. I was still on the phone with the person. And
You
I
can use the
said, oh
phone when
my
the
goodness.
power
I
goes
said,
out.
the
Yes.
lights just went out. Because
Your
we were using,
landline will still work when the
yes,
power
the
goes out. This is
phone
true. I've
line will
seen it.
still
Yes.
work. The copper phone line will still work. And the person was like, I said, hey, we lost power. And the person on the phone who was actually in Manhattan at the time, they said, we lost power too. And I was like, uh-oh.
Looking like Die Hard.
Right. And the generator was just I was like, oh man. But so you're not excited about New Year's Eve.
I'll
I
be
don't know about
nuts
you,
about it
but
this year.
me, I'll be watching on TV. There's
Yeah.
no way I'm going in the city.
I
But
wouldn't try to deal with that traffic. It took me and my girlfriend at the time went there because we drove up from college in Alabama, drove up to New York for the holidays. We went downtown. My mother and my grandparents tried to talk me out of going. I said, I'm going. We're going to make this. Just going to do this one time. If you ever have that on your bucket list, all you got to do is do it once because people are crazy. This
they
was the
are.
early 90s. They were nuts. This dude was walking around trying to punch people. I looked at him, I wish you would. I wish you would. She was like, don't be acting like this. I said, no, we home now. The hell with this. I wish you, you be ready when you go downtown New York. You got to be
Yes.
ready because they will act. It's crazier. Times Square New Year's Eve was crazier than Mardi Gras to me, and I've been to both. I've been to both. Mardi Gras is a fun time.
I've
New
never
Year's
been
Eve,
to Mardi Gras.
dude, you're married. Don't go.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You're married.
Boom,
Don't go.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Let me save you that one before you get them horror movies theme songs in the background. You don't want
Right,
this.
right, 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 right.
You can't even explain yourself. Just don't do it.
Bobby Shadow, how you doing?
What up, Bobby?
Jeeves is in the building. Hey,
Jeez,
last
what's good?
topic.
Yes.
Last topic for thank you for the sound effects, Sweet Pea. We don't have one of those Hasididi machines that Sunday Night Smoke and TJ has or had. Where they would, the air horns and all this other stuff. We're on a budget, okay? Um the last thing
We're on an
is
update. We're on an
make
update.
oh, oh, oh. Bang bang. Okay.
We're on an
Make
update.
them making the way for Miami coin is the last topic of the evening, hopefully.
That crypto?
Crypto. Link
Yeah,
is
I did
in.
see an article last year where there are You are allowed to make cryptocurrency coins based on your city.
Yep.
Now that you mention that, I did see that
Yep.
article last year.
Yep.
The only problem
Click
I
on
have
the
with that
link,
is,
making the way for Miami Coin. Guess
yes,
what? Mayor Francis Suarez announced on CoinDesk TV that Miami Coin, the city's cryptocurrency, will share some of its gains with residents by distributing payments through digital wallets. Guess what? Other cities like in Jackson, Tennessee, also the mayor of Tampa, Florida, and of course our mayor-elect Eric Adams is also on it, and he says that crypto should be taught in schools. Tone, what do you think? Should crypto be taught in schools? Yes or no?
you can't say that it can't because they do teach money in schools. They don't teach money enough. I don't think they'll be able to teach crypto enough. However, it will be economics. It will be business. The Somebody's going to have a problem with the city coins, but the one city that had a coin, the first one I ever heard of, was Akon City on another continent, and that coin's still running.
Ah,
He's at the forefront. That coin is under Stellar Lumens XLM for all my crypto heads out there. I
okay.
keep my eyes on Stellar on purpose. It hasn't really jumped, but God knows I wish I would have had a piece of it back in the day, like I'm doing with Sheba right now. I see you with the Sheba comment over there, Bobby. Yeah, I see you with the Sheba comment. I got my piece. I got my piece. We can do crypto again if y'all want to. We need to see what's going on, cause yeah, the city coins. I did see that it's allowed. You can. It takes 20 minutes to create a crypto coin, but you got to market it for it to have any value. Plain and simple, everybody. I
Listen,
got four, Bobby. Go ahead, bro.
I want to make this photo right here an NFT,
I remember you told me that, right?
but I'm going to learn about NFTs a little bit more. We'll do a stream on it mid next week
Yeah, I need to hear some of
and
that. Next week may be busy for me. My mother will be here, but I'll
kind of
try to
dip into
listen.
that. Oh,
Sure.
mom is coming up. For
Yeah,
people
mom's
who
coming.
don't know what crypto is, here's a great simple article from NerdWallet. Okay, thank
Thank you,
you,
Carmen.
Carmen.
I'm not big on NFTs. I do need to understand them more. I heard about them last year, but I kind of left it
Okay,
alone with where I was invested at already because I didn't have that much leeway to just put to the side and wait 10 years. That's the biggest thing about
right.
crypto. You got to put it over there and let it sit.
Gotta let it sit.
Some people are pulling their money out, and that's what's killing them right now. They pulled the money out, and they got taxed. They didn't think they were going to. You got to wait.
Oh, I'm just gonna love everyone doing their taxes this year.
No, you're not.
Everyone who's been dipping and diving into crypto and everything else like that. Hey, last thing is Bond Play announces inaugural FinTech, the Black Fest. It started on the 16th, and tomorrow's the last day. I was working with a few of the folks, and I'm trying to get the founder of this conference to come on to Haps and do an interview.
Do it.
Yeah, but Haps has got to act right,
Apps is
So
fine. You can hold four on the screen and go. You like the news.
okay. So I was talking with their third party. I was talking with them on Sunday, and I was just like, okay, you're doing this conference, so this is great and everything else like that. They're gonna make some stuff available to us, but I really wanted to get them on for even after the conference to say, okay, did it meet your expectations? We'll come up with some cool questions and things like that.
Right.
I think everyone keeps assuming everyone knows what it is, what this is, NFT crypto. Maybe we should do a cast. Yes,
I just
yes,
put the comment in there. I just put the comment
yes.
in there because we've done it
Oh,
before, and
agreed.
I'm giving her the warning. It's going to be a long broadcast.
Yes, it is.
There ain't gonna be no
Edward,
30-minute one, Carmen.
we talked about the Staples Center at the top of the stream. Um, I think Tone.
Yes.
Think we're good unless you have any parting shots or anything you would like
Sure.
to talk about.
To Carmen, we have
Mhm.
discussed doing crypto. We did it earlier this year. I know you weren't up here. There are quite a few of us up here, honestly. I know you like to keep a short time frame. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. You better save a block of time for that one because we got people in countries. We are all discussing all the different avenues, and the biggest thing with how you could purchase it. Some countries don't want to deal with the politics, but the United States, because of the tax laws and trace it and everything, Europeans have it easier than the Americans. That's what's going on, and all the different coins, all the different aspects. Shiba's the big one right now. Everybody knows about Bitcoin, but long as it's good, we should do a simple, basic info. People get bored. No, let's do an informative shit, not all the crap. Yeah, I'm down with the basic, but it's going to linger. I'm definitely down with the basic.
Got it.
Definitely down.
Tony, where can we find you?
Haps.co, no longer Haps.tv. It's your boy Tony D. You know I'm up here. I'm on Twitch, TonyTone72. I'm on Twitter, TonyTone72. I'm on YouTube, Tony Dandridge. I'm on Facebook. Y'all come over there if you want to, Tony Dandridge. I'm on Snapchat, TonyTone72. I'm on Instagram, TonyTone72.